Good morning, everybody, and
good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, June 12th, 2025, and you're in the Java Cafe. My name is James Jimmy Hills. Thanks for being here, everyone. We are going in, and it looks like things are fixed on Facebook. I see folks signing in on the James Hills page. I think Java Jimmy is good. So let's go in the Java Cafe over on Instagram, starting off and see who's in over there. Ari, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Harris, Arthur Harris, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Rainbow Praise, good morning to you over on Instagram. And in the Facebook section this morning, we have Mama Java, first one in the Java Cafe this morning. Also, Pastor Marion, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Shamika Eagle, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Opal, good morning. Good to see you in the room. And Nisi as well, good morning to you. And good morning to Maritala Rivera. Oh, good morning, sis. Good to see you in the room this morning. It is Thankful Thursday. And so I find myself a little conflicted with staying focused on thankfulness, but I am noticing some things in the media that I would just categorize as needless negative narratives. And so what I'll do is probably talk about that first and then get into thankfulness. Some of you, what's up, Adonis Lamar over on Facebook. Milagro is on YouTube as well. Good morning to you. Dina Marshall is here. Her and Miss Teresa were in cahoots and got Jax a nice, wonderful bandana, scarf, neck scarf, bandana. I don't know. Something around Jax to celebrate Jax healing from an infection. But good morning to those folks I just said good morning to, but we're in a political year, political season. We are in the most contentious mayoral race, I think, that I would say since the race where I believe it was Mayor Curley won, I believe, re-election while he was incarcerated. Very interesting election then and now. And we have to understand that this city is on a road that the P word for some is interesting because there are a lot of implications there. The progressive movement is and has not always prioritized, been led by those most marginalized communities for which they claim they want to create more equitable policies, practices, and whatnot. However, in the general definition of the word progress, this city has progressed. One progress was for years, the city was ruled by Pam, good morning to you. She's doing her civic duty, saying she's reporting from jury duty with her headphones on, sitting there. Hopefully they'll let you go soon, Pam. We put that out in the atmosphere for you. And so, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have to not look at the comments for a minute. We have progressed as a city. First progression is for a long period, which is so interesting to me. There was a period where the Irish community migrated largely to South Boston. And the descendants of the Mayflower did not like the fact that due to the migration, our laws and their ability being citizens to vote, a lot of Irish candidates were being elected to City Hall. So much so, if you look at the model of the relationship between City Hall and the State House right now, what they did was they turned a lot of the power over to the State House, therefore taking the authority from the Irish population who was being elected into City Hall. Remember what I'm talking about. So some years later, there was a young man by the name of Thomas Menino, who right now is actively in the media because the state is naming the convention center after my former boss, Thomas Menino, the longest serving mayor in the city of Boston. First point of progress with him was that though a white male, he was Italian and had more of a High Park background and not from Southie, Neponset, Dorchester. Then, we speed up and we have candidates that in 13, we had black women, Cape Verdean brothers, black men. We had folks running for mayor. And then Marty Walsh got elected and then got appointed, and not by election, but by default, similar to Mayor Menino. By default, with Mayor Menino, Mayor Flynn was appointed by the Pope as the ambassador to the Vatican for the United States. And with Marty Walsh, he was appointed by President Biden to be the Secretary of Labor. Therefore, in the charter, when an active mayor moves on, passes, is incapacitated, the city council president becomes the acting mayor, or if they pass or leave the position, the city council president fulfills the term of the mayor. Oh boy, there's a lot of folks that hopped on over on Facebook. Good morning, Kisa. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Robin. Good to see you in the room over there. And so the first progress was with Mayor Menino through that appointment. The second one was for the first time in Boston's history, you did not have a man, and it was a black woman that became the mayor of the city of Boston. Then in 2021, by election, we progressed further and had a woman who was elected who happens to be Asian and speaks fluent Spanish. Now, the reason I made the point earlier about remembering what some refer to as the Brahmins, those were the descendants of those that came on the Mayflower, lived up on Beacon Hill, all of that. They did not want the Irish being elected. They were prejudiced against them. Side note, that's why it always baffles me about the history of racism in the city, primarily from Southie, the Irish community against black folks, when just a few decades prior, you were being discriminated against because you were not a Mayflower descendant, and they felt that you had to migrate here because what was going on in Ireland. So I just wanted to put that out there, but there's some context there. So now that Asian woman is up for re-election in a climate, if you're paying attention to national politics, where since November, again, because back in 2015-16, when the men was marching in South Carolina with the tiki sticks and whatnot, and Jews will not replace us, and there was some emboldenedness that hit back in America that caused the mask of progress in the country to be peeled back. Now we have a second iteration of that, and since November, white men in power, elected, corporate, everything that some falsely try to blame on DEI, which we know more benefited white women than it did women of color, LGBTQ, those part of the people who are disabled with unique abilities. Things were changing in the landscape. One of the number one things that changed is, anyway, I'm not going to stay too national. So there's a climate in this city in the year of the most contentious election where there is a pact. I told y'all a year ago, there was a conglomerate of white men with a lot of money that doesn't like the fact that, let's be fair, real fair. They may not agree with the mayor's policies. Good portion of that is probably the policies that result in developers and them not getting more money and increasing their capital. But the fact that, they feel that it's no longer their city and their future is at risk. You got to understand and unpack these dog whistles. So this conglomerate of white men have formed a pact behind the old model of Boston, a white man, to launch this needless negative campaign. That's on the campaign side. And there are some people that are in collaboration, that support, that meet in rooms, that have phone calls and Zooms and coffee and sushi and everything else, and have conversations about intentionally creating needless negative narratives, particularly when it comes to someone that's a part of this administration that for the first time in the city's history can point to data where Black and brown and women business owners have excelled in a manner that is unremarkable. Now, let's keep it 100. Was a lot of that because of opera due to COVID? Yes, but it didn't have to be dedicated that way. Every city didn't do what we did with space grants, legacy businesses. And I know there's a lot of concerns valid about some of the processes and who knows who and how decisions were made, valid. But those critiques would not be able to be made about such a program had that program not been in place. Where are you going, Jimmy, with all of this? Currently, there is a needless negative narrative trying to be created about, and yes, I know, love the person. I'm generally speaking vague because for me, it's not really a story, but I'm seeing some people try to make it a story. And let me side note, people that are on the scale that have melanin from my level up to being blessed with even more melanin, I find it very interesting that you are propagating a needless negative narrative where, to me, I would believe that you can see the handwriting on the wall about the nationalist white supremacy movement, but yet and still you decide to further drag one of us with them. Now, I've done my share of dragging of us, but it's not along with racists. So I want to encourage you and let you all know to be very careful about headlines. Additionally, look at the authors and reporters and look at their consistency. And usually if you click on their name, you can see the stories that they've written. And if you look real good at some of them, there's a cadence and a trend of their stories, of their targets. So that's my little bit of commentary about needless negative narratives on two levels. This little truck running around being paid for by $2 million from the conglomerate of rich, white, scared, frail white men that don't want to see the Asian woman continue to be in office who speaks fluent Spanish. I told y'all about that. And the only thing that you can do, if the only thing that you can do is talk about this negative and woos the wrong way and all this other stuff. And I haven't heard a lot of assertion of, all right, I'm out there. Let me pull myself back in because I've been sitting watching stuff. And I'm not an expert, but I'm certainly not a novice. And I can see, I know some of the folks that's behind the strategy and know how they move. And unfortunately, that energy of what's going on nationally is influential here. So I am thankful this morning for discernment. I am thankful for not being a novice and having the ability to influence and inform. And yes, am I favorable for Michelle? I don't know if she got a middle name, Wu. Hell yes, I am. But, and that doesn't mean that I am 100% in agreement all the time with things that come out of that fifth floor chamber. How they come out, what comes out, what doesn't come out. However, when it comes to being more malleable to the issues that concern me, and let's take a business standpoint, and I'll leave it from here. With everything that's going on in the economy, with grants being cut and federal funding and line items and state and whatnot, and I got precedence for this because I told a brother some years ago, I said, right now, part of me feels you're not ready to be mayor. The other part is I don't think we need to switch an administration in the middle of an administration switch. What's your point, Jimmy? These are unprecedented times. And though not perfect, and though the audit and all this other stuff that's in the media about the federal audit and things like that, that was a whole lot of money. Let me just say that. That ain't capping. I'm just saying that was just me, a thought that I had. That was a whole lot of money to keep track of. And yes, a municipality should be able to down to every penny. Yes, absolutely. But that's why we have audits, because systems know that all systems sometimes are imperfect. My point here is, and I'll wrap up with this, this is from a business standpoint. While we are in this change with this administration, grants, money, budget, Medicare, Social Security, all that other stuff, we saw the update the mayor did the other day about the cases and suing the administration, and doing 4 years for everything that they do. Every person from Boston that is detained, they are submitting a FOIA. Got a whole bunch of commentary about that, just about the process and budget and all that other stuff. You don't, from a business standpoint, it would be very interesting, just based on the point I said here, to be very fair. That opera money and the audit, where there may be some discrepancies or whatever, that was in a first administration. If that was maybe in the prior Walsh administration, still would be an audit and still may not be perfect, but probably not some things missed as many, because that they were in their second administration. You see where I'm going? With what's going on from a business, I don't care who it was. Obama, that's a hard statement. Obama could come in here and run, and I would still be like, yep, charismatic, love the brother, was president, let's be fair. So could he adjust to what's going on from the federal impact? Y'all know the point that I'm making. Having a new administration, while this administration is doing what they're doing, can be very new cabinet chiefs, orientation, transition. So I'm done there. Heidi Ivy. I'm going to read the comment here. A vote for the other candidate is another vote for what's happening now. Largely, potentially, locally, more of a local demonstration of what's going on here. So this needless negative narrative on that campaign end, and then on the other end, because what you got to understand is that if you can attack a character and integrity of a person and an entity that has had impact on marginalized communities, what comes into question and what's tainted is that actual impact. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it is. But take it back to the federal a little bit. Some of why 47 wanted to release everything around JFK and also MLK is that there may be some things found in there that may present both of them as imperfect human beings. Keeping it to MLK, the father of the civil rights movement, if you can deteriorate his character, you have an influence on everything that post him was done. All politics are local. There's nothing new under the sun. It's a tactic. So I'm tired. I might need to take a commercial break so I can catch my breath. Because this y'all, if you know me well, y'all know I see beyond the headlines and the comments and the post. This, and as I said before, this is the most contentious election in our recent history. Good morning to everybody. Ari said, go in, come on, Jimmy. True Blue is over on Instagram. Darian, good morning to you. Ari said, thank you. Somebody had to say it. Brother Brandon, good morning to you. Il Neil, one of the hottest DJs in our region, not just city and state, but region, because he's all over the place. Good to see you in the Java Cafe. Let me catch up with some comments on Facebook as well. Pam said, I wish candidates would tell me what they would do opposed to what others won't. Good morning, Miss Teresa. Miss Teresa said everything that I am saying. Pastor Marion said spot on. That's how I interpret it. What about Uncle Ruckus? Who is Uncle Ruckus? Anthony Davis Jr. is in the building. Good morning from Montgomery. We got viewership from Montgomery, Alabama. Safe travels, brother. Uncle JG is in the room, y'all. I don't know if he's still on. I'm not going to put him on the spot too much. Peace, man. I'm trying to get Uncle JG to come in next week to tell his testimony and also make us laugh. So I'm honored to have him in here. I pop in on his gospel segment over on Urban Heat often. And I remember I'm going to go back. We mentioned Mayor Menino this morning. I'm going to go back, I think, to the last time I was on the radio with him when he was at the station in Grove Hall. I think it was a political season, and I was in my suit and trench coat. So Carlos Enriquez used to call me City Hall Hills. And I was in my City Hall Hills attire, and I was at the radio station to talk about violence, summer jobs, youth, something. And Uncle JG said something and knew that either I couldn't answer the way I wanted to, or it was something that I knew I couldn't touch as elected, as a city official. And when I tell you he realized that and seized the opportunity and had me as red as this hat trying to fumble my way out of, I don't remember what it was, but anyway, I look forward to the potential of having Uncle JG with us next week. All right. I want to ask you all to help me this morning. Let's be intentional about some gratitude and some thankfulness. And again, I'm thankful for because though, you know, there's some energy here, I'm not fussing and cussing and whatnot. And I want to also name that while there is, and I, you know, here and there, I'll put some posts up or whatever. While there is a lot of observation of people, you know, picking sides and disruption in the Black community and divisive behavior and us being divided on both sides, I got to say, and I said this the other day, there's a couple of people that we are very intentional. We are on different sides of some, not so much, well, we are on different sides of things as far as candidates. And we've committed that we're not doing our disagreement publicly. Here and there, a little, you know, it might happen. And I'll be honest and say in the past, it's been bad on social media. And so I got to let y'all know that while there's an appearance there, while there is public demonstration of divisiveness within the Black community, the Black voter bloc, which can I just say is the affirmation of how important our bloc is. Both of these candidates know that they do not win this seat without us. And that has to be celebrated. It is not seized and post-election utilized in its greatest post-election. Now you're in the seat and we're going to hold you accountable with an agenda, which is a whole nother conversation. But both of them know that there's no path to victory without the Black community in this voter block. So let's just put the positive, the asset part of that out here. A needless negative narrative that we cannot continue to perpetuate. And I'm trying to do better. And I'm not perfect. And every once in a while, I'll put up a post. Yes. I'm not on other people's post asserting my candidate and things. Y'all need to be a little more careful of on mine. Public figure and all. And some of that is on my personal page. So, that's been an issue for about 10 years. Let's just say I'm like, can y'all just go and do your thing on Europe? It's away from the election and all that. That's always a thing that's just funny to me. My point is I wanted to be thankful as we go into some thankfulness for a couple of people that where we text and we say what we got to say. And then we joke in and issues and talking about stuff and food and all that. So I need to let y'all know that while there's some public divisiveness, there are some folks in private that are being very intentional about not perpetuating that. And are we perfect? No. You got to understand that in this city, politics is personal and it comes with a lot of passion. And when you're somebody that's been in it for about, 25? I will give my real political start 18 to 20 years. 20 was when I first got active with Peace Boston around violence prevention. And I've always been around elected officials even before I went in the mayor's office and just, hi, James, whatever. I was going to say something and I held on to it because, the trolls. 18 years, if I count my time when I started in Mayor Menino's office. And so it's through the years, it's been bad, but know that there's some folks that are being intentional about, and there's conversation about, on one side, once again, we're in an election. We don't have a formidable, let me not lie. Domingos DeRosa is on the ballot. Black man, Cape Verdean black man. And so there is a formidable, and we've had, let me back up. I'm sorry. Let me correct this. We've had formidable black candidates. But as a pundit, let me just say, strong by experience and voter trends and OCPF amounts of money and all that other stuff. More than likely, the top two are going to wind up being Wu and Kraft. And so, but I got to give a shout out to Domingo. This is his fourth candidacy, 3 prior at large and first mayoral. And me and Mingo have fussed about him as a candidate. And I got to give this brother credit. And if you move in the political space, you understand what I'm saying here. The way he's come out this season is a little bit different. And so I got to give him credit because I used to fuss, Mingo, you can't do this and you got to do that. You got to wear this and you got to, Boston is changing, but it ain't changed yet. And you got to play some of the old school game. But shout out to that black man that's running for mayor of the city of Boston. So we have had formidable, viable candidates in the past. What I was trying to say there, and I'm glad I caught it and clarified, is that to the point of a black agenda, black leadership, not being divisive, and I'm willing to sit back and support because I know for some, if I'm involved, they're like, yep, I'm good. And there's a few people, I'm being honest and transparent, y'all. there's a few people that puts a red flag up for me. You know what I'm saying? So we all got to do better at that. I told somebody I have Boston Collaborative Trauma, BCT. And they brought it up the other day and they was like, that's this. I can see how, yeah. So thankfulness this morning. Let's get ready to end up and be intentional about some gratitude this morning. Folks over on Instagram, don't leave me hanging. Express some gratitude with us this morning. Now that I'm over my Boston Poly commentary, let's go to Heidi. I'm going to read the comments and try not to respond. Heidi said, Boston is huge. Boston is a huge source of revenue for the other candidate. While he's blasting White Stadium, they're not talking about what they're doing. I couldn't even, I went to reach my coffee, but my hand was going for the mouse so I could take that comment down. Thankfulness. People have perfected the art of dividing us. If we're fighting each other, they win. Ed, that's true. That is absolutely true. That's why I keep a lot of my commentary about some folks a little more private. Teresa McIntyre, good morning. I kept seeing Teresa and thinking it's Miss Teresa Santana. We got two Teresas in here this morning. Good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning. Hi, Miss Teresa. And look, she's saying hi to Teresa. To Ed's point, this it really is. And I've, fallen victim sometime intentionally, have embraced the passion and the anger and the clapback and whatnot as a part of that. But one of the reasons I'm thankful this morning, I thought about it yesterday, is that I don't go left like I used to. I don't, and so I'm also very discerning about people's intentions and motives and how they move. 53 is a beautiful place, y'all. And I'm loving every moment of it. All the pain, all the tears, all the mistakes, all the heartache, but all the progress, all the growth and the expansion to which we referred earlier this week or last week. So, all right, folks, y'all aren't putting too much thankfulness in here. It's 10:35. We're going to get ready to wrap up. Today's my Friday, so I have no problem. Heidi Ivy, how do you work the Woo campaign? I will put you in touch with Anthony Davis Jr., who is working on that campaign. I just got, it's weird. I got the comments here on James' Facebook, on StreamYard, and looking at Instagram as well. Folks, nobody's going to give me any thankfulness this morning. Personal progress is important. It absolutely is. And I can, and I can say I'm proud of me, brother Arthur, because which Arthur, is this high school Arthur Harris? And if it is, then brother, you've seen the journey and personal progress. I told y'all the last year, I had to do a lot, and I'm still doing some self-examination. So every once in a while, when I think I got something mastered, Jesus allows something to come up to see just how much I've mastered it. So, all right, we're going to wrap up with a few dates in mind. Thank you, Veronica Michelle Evans. She put some thankfulness up. I'm grateful for life and all that comes with it. And you, James, appreciate you. I'm with that same journey. Yes, but and that is Arthur. Okay. Thankful for you too, Michelle. Date. A note of accountability. Some of you noticed last night, and my mother texted me, we did not, and as I told you at the 12 o'clock show yesterday, we did not have the 8 p.m. Java After Dark with mathematics. And I'm glad I didn't. I won't go into it. He can share when he comes on, but he just had to have a health appointment. And I told y'all that I always err on the side of caution. And he literally told me, you heard the relief in his voice when I said, hey, bro, I went and canceled it just so you don't have the pressure of trying to get here from wherever you were or whatever, you couldn't confirm the time. So that right now is rescheduled to the 25th. of June, which is a Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. Also, tomorrow's event is private, and next Saturday, part 2 is private. I'm basically doing a men's focus group around mental health, but it's not public. The men's breakfast, the fatherhood breakfast is on Thursday. I did earlier ask for a count and see if they were going to close off registration. And they're closing registration officially today. I think our capacity is at 175 and we are currently at 168. So if you're a brother that wants to bring a young man, to the breakfast with you, please get your ticket today. Go to cityofboston.gov or Google Black Male Advancement City of Boston and navigate to the event part of the page. And there's technically 7 tickets left. I think the cap is at 175. Okay. June 28th, 10 a.m. Please plan to tune in for the first of our mini residency with the Museum of Science. I'm in the process of hold on. Now, Pam, I looked at it, and then, of course, the medical hat comes on. When you say this boob is boobing, I pray everything is okay with you, but I'm thankful for medical insurance as well. Naraki says she's thankful for a deeper yes. Self-growth takes a deeper yes to yourself. I like that. Nicole said, I went to a council meeting at my church, and I must say, are you thankful for that? And I must say it was interesting. Sister Debbie said that she is thankful for discernment. Ed said, I am grateful for my dog because she doesn't bite me when I give her face kisses for 3 minutes straight. Laugh out loud. Shout out to Angel. All right. So we got Java pets in the Java Cafe. We have Jax and we have Angel. Parents of Jax, Dina, and the parent of Angel is Ed. So shout out to our dogs in the Java Cafe. And I did tell Dina that when we have an outside event where it's appropriate and she feels it's good for Jax is going to come out and meet the Java Cafe. All right. 10:40, my Friday, Thursday. We are not scheduled to be back until Monday, the 16th at 10 a.m. So we will be glad to see you then. Please tag somebody to watch the videos. Share information. Mama Java said Chico is her dog. For the Mother's Board and our prayer list, please pray for Elliott Congregational Church. Miss Teresa said, I have an angel, a different angel, Miss Teresa, and behave. Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say. Monday the 16th, we'll be back. Oh, y'all, please tell people about Java with Jimmy. Don't take it for granted that everybody knows. As much as when I sometimes introduce myself, hi, I'm Jim. Oh yeah, we know who you are. But I'm going to start asking them when they say that, you know who I am, but do you follow me? Do you watch? Oh yes, I am. So spread the word about the Java Cafe. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you on Monday at 10 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. And I think I got everything covered. Shout out to everybody that watched on Instagram, on both Facebooks. I don't know if Twitter is active in YouTube as well. Mother Lisa, I didn't say good morning to you this morning. Good to see you in the room this morning. All right. Have a